Minnow, the area of the game that stops at stage 15 for what reason? Nobody knows. But we use what we have, right? Previously, the team that I was running for Minnow consistently for a while now was Ethos and Royal Guard. And they do a very good job. They're very efficient, they get through it pretty quickly. It's a fast, consistent team. However, because I have two farmers in here helping me farm up the third champion that I want to get books for, it does take away a little bit of experience, and I like to be able to level up that extra champ that you're trying to book out. So I thought that I would try to figure out a way to make this a little more efficient, and I know that other people use Ethos as a solo farmer for Minnow, so I decided to give him a try. Now, before I even changed any of his builds or anything like that, let's just say his consistency was subpar. I would run him over and over again and it just wasn't working out. He was failing way too many times for my comfort. In fact, I don't want him to fail at all. So I decided to optimize him, went through, gave him a couple of different builds, kept testing him out and running him through Minnow, and finally I was able to get him right. I had to do quite a few enchantments to get that. He took a bit to optimize for this, and what I noticed is whenever I run him, he does get quite low on the health sometimes, but I've tested him multiple times after updating his build, and he's very, very consistent. I haven't had him lose yet since we finished it. It looks like he might, but he's good. Then I had this thought after running Ethos: what other champions do I have that could potentially do solo farming for Minnow? And so I started testing that out. Started looking up, what other people were using for solo farmers, and honestly, I went a little bit crazy and I just started putting in totally random champs that I have that I thought might be able to do it. Some couldn't, and some just did it more easily than I thought they would. Hold up, click link in the description right now to get Uugo for free, as well as 2 more amazing epics as you level up. Here are the exact steps you need to follow. Log out of Plarium Play on PC and uninstall. Click link in the description and register with a brand new email. Launch raid and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champ. Here you go, you'll find Uugo here, as well as Tagoar and Rector Drath as you progress through the game. Then, use promo code SUPREME6 to get yourself an insane Void Legendary, Supreme Galek. This is an amazing account start in Raid, so go ahead and click my link right now and follow the steps. I went through and tested out a ton of different champions, and I was able to find 11 that I own that can solo farm Minnow, and actually some of them did it fairly easily and very consistently. I also went through and I figured out all of their times. I'm going to share with you their times, which champions they are, and obviously I'll show you their builds. Real quick, I would also like to note, not all of these are optimized, okay? Some of these champions that I use in this haven't been updated for a while, so they don't have the best gear, or I just simply threw them in using the gear that I use for the other areas of the game, and they were able to do it that way. So I just wanted to note that. So if you decide to use one of these champions to run Minnow, you could potentially optimize them and get them a lot faster than what I have. But I wanted to include the times here so that you can get an idea of what they can do. First up is a champion that I didn't even slightly think could do it, but after watching some videos and looking around at what other people are doing for solo farming Minnow, apparently he can solo farm Minnow just fine. Here's his build. I have him in a toxic set. I built him right when I got him, which was quite a while ago, and I haven't updated it since, so it probably could be a whole lot better. He is quite slow, but it is nice that if you have no other champion here that I share in this video, at least you know that Death Knight can do it, because quite a few of us have him now. His time was 3 minutes and 17 seconds. Again, he took a second, but he gets the job done, and there was no chance that he was going to get taken out. Next is a champion that I didn't think could do it at all, which is Syl. And the reason why is because obviously in my mind she's just a reviver. Again, outdated build, haven't touched her for a really long time, so don't come at me. But it's pretty cool to know that she can do it, and she did it very, very well and consistently because she just kept on healing herself. Syl got it done in 2 minutes and 47 seconds. Again, took a little bit longer, but she was able to get through it just fine. Next up is Venomage. I decided to just give her a shot and see if she could do it. Not everybody has her, but if you do, this could be a great Minnow farming champion. I do want to note that I have her in a regeneration set, so it did help to keep her health up and get through all of the waves and get through Minnow, but she did great. She was able to get it done in 2 minutes and 32 seconds. Next up is Visix. She was able to get through Minnow also fairly easily. I do want to note I don't have an optimal build for her. I was just testing her out for a few things, so don't overly analyze the build that I have on her. I was just testing her out for something. But Visix was able to do 1 minute and 46 seconds and get through Minnow solo farming with just the extra champion involved, so she did great. Quite a few of us have Visix. she's pretty available to get, so if you're able to get her, you can go ahead and give her a try for solo farming Minnow as well. All right, next up is Ninja. We all, or not all, I shouldn't say all, quite a few of us now have Ninja. Again, noting the regeneration set that I have him in, but he did just fine. He was able to get through it. He didn't do it very quickly because I don't have him in like a huge damage build. I have him for survivability for what I'm using him for in other areas of the game, but he was able to do it in 2 minutes and 17 seconds. Again, if you were to optimize his build a little bit further or use him in more of a damage build, or however use him in other areas of the game, you might have been able to do it quite a bit faster than 2 minutes, but he got the job done. Next up is a champion that I somewhat recently got and I'm just falling in love with. I'm having a lot of fun with her. It's Arx. Her build's a little off because I've been playing around with her and I switched her out to a ton of different types of builds and trying to fine tune her for something. So obviously don't use this build as a guide to how to build her out. But I just wanted to be able to show what artifacts and things that I have her in so that you can see what I was able to accomplish in Minnow. Arx was able to get through solo farming Minnow in 1 minute and 46 seconds, so she's pretty similar to Ninja. Again, if you fine tune both of them or adjust them in their builds, you probably would be able to do them faster. Or maybe not with her, I don't know. But 1 minute, 46 seconds, and she did it solidly, no chance of her dying. She was really good. Next is another champion that I have just absolutely just love. And I'm graced with 2 of them, which is so great. This guy, Artak, is freaking phenomenal, especially with Hydra, and I struggle with Hydra. So once I got 2 of them, which I believe I got them like really close together too, or if not in the same poll for whatever event I was going for, and I was so excited because I needed help in Hydra and he does great in it. So I have 2 of these guys. I did test him out in Minnow and he did just fine as well. He did it in 1 minute and 7 seconds. So we're getting a little bit faster here with these champions as we go along, and I didn't have to change his build at all. He was able to just use what the build that he has that I'm using him for and did great. Okay, this next champion I beat myself up over, right? Because I found it, someone else was saying that they're solo farming with her, and I was so upset with myself because I've had her from the very beginning, like way back when I started, and I was so upset with myself because then when I realized she could solo farm Minnow, I was like, duh. Of course she can. She is Deliana. Deliana is freaking fantastic. You can use her in so many different areas of the game. Deliana was able to do it in 58 seconds. Again, sure, if I optimized her, I haven't touched her build in a really long time. She does great already. I'm gonna be honest, I probably need to go through and fix up a lot of champions that I have. She's probably one of them because I just had her in the same stuff for a really long time. That said, running through Minnow in 58 seconds was pretty great. She probably could do it even faster too. Awesome freaking champ. Okay, moving on is another champion that I somewhat recently got as well, and he is just freaking love him. When I got a Thorion, I was freaking the frick out. I'm having a lot of fun figuring out all the different ways and areas that I can utilize him in, but yeah, given the build that he's in, he was able to do it in 50 seconds. So he actually did it pretty well. Not everybody has him, so again, I'm trying to add in as many champions as I can after testing so many different ones, but I want to also share all the ones that I was able to find and that I have. So, Thorion, while Master Thorion, while a freaking amazing champion in many different areas, can also solo farm Minnow. Alright, the next champion I want to shout out to be able to do this is Magnar. Now, this guy has my heart, and I think it's because he was one of the earlier champions that I got when I started playing. I use him for Arena, and he helped me go pretty far in Arena pretty quickly. Like, it made a big difference in my account and where I was. He's freaking awesome. I love this guy. He does a lot of damage, and he's an HP champion, which means he stuck in it like a champ. Like, he did great. There was no chance of him dying solo farming Minnow, and he was able to do it in 40 seconds as well. So he did it very quickly, and he's just a strong. I just love this guy. This is one of my favorite epics, personally. And finally, bringing it back to the man of the hour, Mr. Ethos. Again, another champion that not a lot of people probably have, but if you do, he does this very, very quickly and very efficiently. My Ethos was able to do it in 34 seconds, but I feel like if I fine-tuned him a little bit more, I might be able to get him a bit faster. That said, he took a lot of reworking to make work. While a lot of the other champions that I featured in this video were able to just be thrown into Minnow at using whatever build I had, whether that was an old build that I haven't touched or updated in a long time, or a build that I'm using in other areas of the game, they were able to just go through it just fine. Ethos, I definitely had to fine-tune a whole lot more, like down to the point where I was redoing a bunch of the enchantments on his gear, like adding enchantments just to get up the speed to where I needed him to be so that he could take as many turns as possible and then proc that extra turn as much as possible so that he had less likelihood of dying. He did it in 34 seconds. Think he could do a whole lot faster, but if you have Ethos, fantastic minnow farmer, and he's the fastest one that I currently have, I believe. I'm sure I could probably test out a whole lot more champions, but he's my fastest solo farming minnow guy. Here's a quick look of all the champions and their times. Again, keep in mind that they could be optimized a whole lot more, quite a few of them anyway, and their builds depending on what you'd like to use them for. But solo farming, minnow, here's all the champions that you can look over. Deliana was one. Again, I just was smacking my head over like, duh, of course she could have done it. I don't know why I've been using her longer. Ethos, not a common champion that a lot of people have, but if you do, this guy can go through it very quickly. But of course, if you have no one else, you can always go with Death Knight, which a lot of people have by now, hopefully, where he took a long time, but if you want to be able to save on that XP for that extra champion, he can do it just fine. And there you have it, 11 different champions that can solo farm minnow for you. I hope you found this helpful. Let me know in the comments if you have a champion that I mentioned that you weren't using for minnow already and you're to go try them out. But also, the biggest thing I would love to know is if you're able to solo farm minnow and you have a champion that I didn't mention at all during this video, please feel free to comment it so that other people can get an idea of what they can use for their solo farming minnow runs. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing freaking day. Keep killing it, and I'll see ya.